Okay. Yeah, so the railways arrived in 1845. I remember the 150th celebrations. So let's have a quick look. So that's the remains of the Crescent houses, which were demolished to build the Crescent Bridge. And of course you've got the modern, well, what is now the modern bridge. And this is various points in its history. So you've got the construction, you've got the earlier construction, the slightly later on. And this is the old Devil Crossing, which used to cause quite a bottleneck apparently. And this is after the bridge has been built. And this is the removal of the crossing. Yeah, so I think this is on the south side of the bridge. And this is the old subway, which I think is technically still there, but was filled in, I think. And this is how it used to look before the bridge was built. So you had the subway, but you also have the level crossing, which was, like I said a minute ago, the bottleneck. And finally, some maintenance work in 1983. So looking now at what's the old East Station. So you had this fascia out the front, and I know that one of the platform faces survives, but it's all very much long gone. And yeah, there's the extent of the yards which were there as well. Yeah, it sort of was it about 73, I think? It saw its last trains, I think. And there's the turntable. The front again. The platforms. That's it, looking west. So you've got the East Coast Main Line running across the top. It's bore left to head towards Northampton and what is now the Dean Valley, or it goes to the right up the Crescent. And this is the Great Eastern Shed as well. I'm not sure where those sheds were. Spital Motive Power Department. Spital Engine Shed. Interesting how you got 1935 with a Midland and Great Northern livery engine. 58. Not sure on the date, that's late BR though. And Spital Bridge signal box. So we've got the engine sheds and the yards up at the New England depot. So again, this is the LNER period. This one says this was 1908. So that's a lot of wagons. And then obviously it's got a 9F, so this will be in the late 50s or early 60s maybe. And some of the cottages which were, I think these ones were the ones which were demolished to build the road. Great Northern Railway School, Walpole Street, 1906. And again, another big picture of the motive shed. full stage. So 1902 that picture is. And a colour picture from 1962. So that's another Union. Good lads. Yeah, these are not dated, but that was taken from Baker Perkins, which is just off to the side of the main line. So we've got Peterborough North Station now. This is the station which is still there, but since a lot of these pictures were taken, it's been massively remodelled. I think it was remodelled in the late 70s, early 80s. So one of the problems, I think, of the original station is that it had a curve, I think, so it had a speed restriction. So you got Mallard there, obviously, 60022. So you got the pictures, and I think this platform somewhere here is actually still the bay platform, which is still there, but had the track lifted. But one of the bay platforms is an original platform from the original station, and you've got the Great Northern Hotel there. Used to have a good bar in there. So I think this was the main line, which sort of curved out and round. And there's the inside. The front now, and this is where all of the buses and taxis and stuff are now. Yeah, so you can see where you got these sidings with the bay platforms and stuff. I'm not sure if they had a cattle dock, I don't think so. And yeah, there's the front of the Great Northern Hotel, which is actually largely still the same. I think it's been extended in some ways, but it's largely still the same. It's seen better days though. So some of the various artwork. Spalding, Mill Green, St James Deeping. I think that signal box is still there. Littleworth, Mill Green. Here we are. We've got some of the industry. So you've got coal company, flour mill. I'm not entirely sure I can work that one out. Where that one is. I think that is that the old power station up at the back. I'm not sure. So again, that's Peterborough North front. Peterborough North again. And yeah, this is another view of the level crossing. Apparently used to wait ages there to get crossed. There's another view of the side of North Station with the bay platforms coming in here. And the interior of North Station. It's got a brick wagon, which is a big industry of the area. And this is up at Dogsthorpe, this is the old Midland and Great Northern Railway, I think. That's where the parkway comes down there now. There's the brickyards. I can remember the brickyards. And again, that's Flairn Road. Okay. The British Sugar. Again, we're getting up to the preservation now. So that's Standard 5. Outside the sugar factory sidings, where the Locomotive Society started, what became the Nene Valley Railway. You've got the you've got the Peterborough North Station again. You can see the Great North Hotel at the back there, and Crescent Corn Store. So I think that's further across. So you've got the main train shed here. I never knew about that bit. So you've got Baker Perkins, which, if you look at this picture, it's next to the main line. I think this building remains. I think it's got a listed front. And again, Baker Perkins again. This bit's all kind of still the same. These factories are gone. The prison is somewhere here. And you can see like the engine shed and everything. And the Midland and Great Northern went up, round and up there somewhere. Again, and then Brotherhoods, where the Standard 5 went there to be preserved. And that's where they did some of the initial work on it. Yeah, so that must be on the Midland Rails, which heads up to Stamford. And Perkins Engines, Fletton, or at least that's for the Fletton. That's the Fletton Loop line. So this signal gantry is still there. It doesn't have any of the signals on, but that's the Fletton Loop, which is the main line connection for the Nene Valley, and the Perkins factory in the 1950s. I know the factory a little bit. First World War, troops at Peterborough North. Obviously, I'm assuming some of the families sending them off, and they're marching off in 1914. Can't imagine many of them came back. Again, the infantry, this lot of volunteers and stuff, and the troop trains. Yeah, so this is something which happened when the First World War kicked off. Working on the railway was not a protected occupation, so you got conscripted, which left a lot of the railway with a lack of staff, and they actually took on a lot of women to do lots of the maintenance and various other jobs. I think they still weren't permitted to drive, but German prisoners, more troops, procession, again, lots of men going off to war. And talking of war, this is kind of the Second World War. So New England was damaged in the air raids. And it had been all blackout, and it had been very gloomy. I think it had been quite an unpleasant place to be. But then we got some of the posters. So, On to Victory, Air Crews Wanted. Is that for the Auxiliary Air Force? Fire bombs. Yeah, some of the propaganda was very interesting. So we've got some of the uniforms now. I'm not really all up on the uniform. I can tell that. Yeah, so we've got some of the double arrows, which are a bit later on. 60s, 70s, I think. Then the earlier British Railways insignia. 1950 rule book. An Edmondson ticket dating machine. And there's the crew of Mallard after her record-breaking run, where the loco failed and stopped here in Peterborough. So a gift from Baker Perkins Limited, made by their apprentice and presented it to the Peterborough City Council to Charles William Swift. I met Charlie Swift several times on his admission as an honorary freeman of the city, 14th of May 1984. And we get on to something a bit later with the Nene Valley. So one of the things it has is the ability to make its own stamps. And we've got the nameplate for City of Peterborough from when she was first preserved. Last time she ran, she just had a normal thin nameplate, but that's what it looked like on the loco. And, more uniform as well. Again, like I said, I don't know about uniforms. And, painting Great Northern Atlantic. So this is the sheds that used to be at Woodston. So this is near where the current Peterborough Nene Valley station is, and these photos are focused on Railworld. You can go there, it's a very nice afternoon out. So you could see the old coal yard which used to be there, and again I think this was before the Nene Valley was extended into Peterborough. There's some of the work which has taken place. And it's really, over time, it's just really grown out. It's quite a pleasant visit. And Richard Patton is one of the people we got to thank for it. So much like a lot of the country, Peterborough East was a victim of Dr. Beeching. So it closed to passengers in the 60s, but and the last kind of goods workings were in the early 70s. I believe there was talk of setting up the Railway Museum there, but obviously that went to York. So these engine sheds here, those are still available, those are still there, those have been updated, and some of these mills are still there as well. I think a lot of that is actually listed and protected now. And yeah, we've got the signal box. Yeah, and a view of the station, the yards. Yeah, Black 5. And that's how the station looked just before it was going to be demolished. And we've got a sign for the A1 now. So we've got some of the photos from the filming. So you've got Queen, they shot the breakthrough video here. And then the other big film was, of course, Octopussy, which was filmed in 82, 83. And yeah, so it's a Swedish B-class which is still there. And so that's the French Nord loco, which has gone back over to Longueville in France now. Caught on the train. Middlemarch. I remember Middlemarch. It was filmed in Stamford. So yeah, that was the Diet Coke advert. So got some more pictures of the circus train. Now, this is before I was born. And cast and crew on the platform at Wansford. I think this is just the other end of the Wansford Tunnel. And then again, it was used for GoldenEye. So we have Hunter Clark 1800 Thomas when he was working at the sugar beet factory in British Sugar. This is all a housing estate now. So there he is in his very plain blue livery. But he was nicknamed Thomas, and the Reverend Audrey came along and named him. There is a plaque on the side of the loco which commemorates that, which created some interesting legal things later on. And there he is running at the Nene Valley. He's in operation now. So we've got Wadsworth Station, early 1900s, and the opening of the Barnwell building with the Nord. And we've got, that's Wadsworth Station. Okay, so you've got the signal box, which is still there, which goes across the river. And the Barnwell building was shipped from Barnwell and moved there. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. And you got Tornado when she was in blue. Again, Wadsworth Station. So all the engine shed and stuff is all over this side now. I think pretty much all of this was knocked down. And is this from the opening day? With loco Derek Crouch. And the opening of the second platform at Alton Mere. Yeah, I sort of vaguely remember that being built actually. Alton Mere used to have a nice cafe. It's the station again. And the Barnwell building, like I say, that was actually shipped from Barnwell Station. And then there's Tornado in more recent years. And so we've got a 1977 timetable. Not much has changed actually. That's the railway section done. I've gone upstairs and I'm going to have a look around the rest. So these are some of the earliest human remains from the area. 5,000 to 6,000 years old. You can't see very well. But this man had an arrowhead in his chest. So he's likely murdered. So it says here this is a model of a large villa found at St Kinborough's Church in Castor. Now Kinborough, there's nothing there now, it's just fields, but it was where one of the first Roman settlements were. So you've got a mosaic. I'm not sure if this is original or reproduction. But either way. The kitchen. And we've got some pottery here as well. I don't know anything about pottery. The Ashton lead tank. Probably for baptism, it says. I don't think storing water in lead is very good these days. It's got some silver. again, don't know anything about silver. And this is a lead coffin. That's very small. Yeah, it's for a boy of a wealthy family, apparently. That explains why it's very small. This is a bust of the poet John Clare. He lived up at Helpston, just north of the city. His house is still open. You can go visit it. So this stairwell has a bit of a story, and that it's allegedly haunted by Thomas Hunter, the Anzac. He is actually buried in Peterborough. So this was a hospital back during the First World War. And yeah, apparently he has been seen walking up these stairs. So changing the lives of people in Peterborough. So got the old football ground and Peterborough United. Some of the posters for some of the industry, and Hot Point is still based in the city as well. And a kitchen with Hot Point for all the labour saving stuff. It's got a little kitchen with got the oven, the washer, I think. Fascinating. So we've got toys and games now. So we've got some sort of lead soldiers, puzzle blocks, Buzz Lightyear, Captain Kirk, a doll, slightly creepy doll, a City and Sweep, Thunderbirds, and a ZX Spectrum. So this is kind of related to all those pictures of the soldiers going off to war. But you've got some of the stuff for the home front as well. So this is mostly the Second World War, I think. A toy gun, a rattle, and Air Raid Warden's helmet and everything, and some various personal items. And we're looking at the engineering as well, where we've got Baker Perkins for the biscuits. I think they did some engineering as well. And this is a Perkins engine. So this is a 4.236 diesel engine from the 60s. I used to see these every day. I actually remember breaking one. But anyway, we forgot to top up the radiator and left it on test. Whoops. So you got the... Which school is this? Not sure which one that is. You got the police. So you can just about see the emblem. It's quite dark in this corner. We've got an even older kitchen set up as well. So I don't think you'd call this an Aga, but you know what I mean. So you've got the iron and everything which you would heat up on the fire. You've got your roller and various preserves and your plastic bread. I had one of those lamps. But yeah, so this is some from the station. You've got the sack barrow, some luggage. I think some of this is downstairs at the moment. So going into the area with the about the prison camp, which was at the Norman Cross. There's a few ghost stories down that way as well. So you have, some uniforms. Sir Harry Smith. I think he's got a school named after him. So let's have a look around. Scared me. Right. It's all very close. It's quite creepy. So we've got hammocks and beds and stuff, so they would have been proper crammed in. I'm not very good at reading the old writing. Oh, there's a little tunnel through there as well. Okay. So what's all this about? So this is ornaments and models. Model ships. Don't know a huge amount about them off the top of my head. Yeah, feel free to pause and read it. So this is what the prison camp looked like. So there's a bit of a key here. So you've got the hospital up at the back over there. The blockhouse is the one in the centre. The boys' prison. The boys' prison is just outside the gate at the back as well. The barracks are quite obvious. The black holes, which are in the ground there. And the officer's house, which is that one there. So this is the operating theatre. So let's try and go in here. Because at one point this was a hospital. And I always find this room really creepy. It's quite a smell as well. But yeah, let's have a look at some of the implements. So I'm not sure what some of these is. I know that that's a bone saw. Various pokey things and cutting things, basically. A chamber pot. And a nurse's outfit. Yeah, it's kind of what this is mocked up to look like what the operating theatre would have looked like. Really not a huge amount of technology going on. You've got a bucket full of blood. More bloody stuff over there. Some of the cleaned implements and the sink. Yeah, I'm glad we've moved on from that. Honestly, this room has always creeped me out. So that is the museum building, formerly the hospital. I believe some of these buildings were part of the hospital as well. This has become something of a walking tour. So this is where, I think these were old wagon works once. The road's very loud though. And where the Asda was, that used to be the power station. It's very loud here. Well, this hasn't been fixed. There's been quite a lot of subsidence, and that's just all fallen in the river. One of the lesser known things about Peterborough is allegedly one of those flats were owned by a certain disgraced and now dead DJ. Yeah. Say no more. Only a few minutes walk away is the Iron Bridge. This is, it was built for the Great Northern Railway by Joseph Cubit. Still doing its job today. Right, after being at the museum, I thought I'd come here at Railworld, and yeah, some of it's kind of closed off at the moment because there's a lot of work still going on. There's a 170 going past. I'm looking at RTV 31 from Tracked Hovercraft Limited. They're doing a lot of work here because the old Wansford Station building near Wansford is being moved here. So this is all being redeveloped. And I think this is going to come down further, and it's going to get a bit of TLC as well, because it's been up there for 30 or 40 years, I think. But also, you can see just around the back there is the one of the HST power cars. The other one is on the other end, and then there's the restaurant car there as well. There's carriages at what is now called Overton Station, the former Ferry Meadows Station. Bite notice, do press the start button once. Supervise your children at all times. Report any problems to a volunteer. Let's try it. Yeah, I can hear something. Let's have a walk up. I think it's James. James is slightly derailed, but he's still going. And there's Toby coming the other way. So we got here the two power cars, the East Midlands power cars, and the restaurant car. Behind that is the Danish Pacific, which is out of view. But over to the right, you've got one of the, I think it's one of the old Birmingham Airport maglev cars as well. It was really muggy earlier, and it thought it was going to rain. So, of course, wear the coat, and it is now bright sunshine. So just walking across the bridge to what used to be the old coal yard, which has been set up as the gardens. We're just walking across the River Nene. So this first bridge here is a crescent line which runs and it heads out towards Ely. You've got the girder bridge, which is a later addition for the East Coast Main Line, and the other side of that is the Iron Bridge, which we were just under earlier. And we got a train coming. Exactly like that. So what is the Nene Valley now, which runs down that way? That is in fact the original route, and behind the bridges over there was the old East Station, which there's really not much to see there now. It's all been redeveloped. This has all been set up as the gardens. It's quite a nice little spot actually, a bit out of the city, a few minutes away. And you've got the old signal box. Well, it's not an old signal box, it's actually a new one. But I call everything the old signal box. Yeah. Let's have a walk up in the signal box. It's not really a signal box as such, but it has the block section for Peterborough, shows what's coming. So you've got the station here, you've got, we're about here on the diagram, got the Nene Valley, and you have the line heading out towards Ely, and this is the line heading towards King's Cross. Let's have a bit of fun. I don't know any of the signalling codes. You might remember I came here a few years ago and recorded some video. It looked looks a lot nicer today, actually. You can tell we're coming up to the height of summer. It's all green. Fairly pleasant, actually. Looks like we've got some apples coming up. Nice. We got the grounded wagon body here. These were quite popular back in the 60s and 70s. They used to sell these off. So I'm not sure what the price was, but you could buy them and British Rail would deliver them to you. And you pretty much got a fairly substantial shed ready to go. I'm coming up to this section because I've just remembered what's here. Tiny little platform, but with the bike on it. And there's a little bit of narrow gauge stuff over in the back there as well. And so there's a little bit about the filming of Octopussy as well. Hello, little Robin. Yep, there it goes. The coat is off. I'm boiling. Maybe the coat will benefit me later. For anyone asking, it was £4 to get in as an adult. Concessions, £3. Family of 5 is tenner, and children are £2. That's okay to me. I'm happy with that. Good a place as any to record an outro, I suppose. Hope you've enjoyed my little walk around Peterborough and a quick look in the museum at the exhibition they got on there today. Sun's out, coat is off. I am roasting. I'm just kind of watching the world go by at Peterborough and Nene Valley for a bit before I go on wherever. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.